I think I have this thing running and driving. Seems to be fine. Today I'm working on cosmetics of the car. I'm going to show you just a few things I have going on. The gray on these bumpers is less than perfect. So I picked up some vinyl paint. I'm going to take care of that. The paint on this car is, and I don't know if you can actually see this, but it's rough. So I plan to wet sand this hood and the tops of the fenders, then buff them. This is going to get redone. All this trim is going to get redone. I took some Eastwood rust encapsulator. I have a little bit of surface rust here. That's been encapsulated. I'm hoping that that stuff does a good job. If you've used that before, some sort of POR 15 or an Eastwood product, let me know. New to the car is this steering wheel. And the reason why I replaced the SVO wheel, one SVO steering wheel sold for a decent amount of money. This one was 200 bucks and hey, I got a horn now. I've never wet sanded a car before. I have, but not one that I was all that concerned about. I've cleaned it, I've clay barred it, and still not too great of results. I think the next step is just to lightly wet sand this with some 2000 grit, then try the compound. Now this is just soapy. It's water with a couple of drops of soap, and I don't want to say it's soapy water, but it's water with a couple of drops of soap in it. And like I said, I've never done this before, but nothing ventured, nothing gained, I guess. Some of these marks are never coming up, no matter what I do. I think this is a pretty cheap paint job when it was done. But it's what I have, so I'll try to use what I have.
I'm using a compound here. It's number 7, which is appropriate because it cost me $7. That's not a dual action buffer. I don't have a dual action buffer. I have a Craftsman from Sears, when there was Sears, grinding wheel. But back in the day, you used a grinding wheel. These pads came from Amazon, not real pricey either.
This paint is far from perfect, but it's also far from where it was. Yeah, there's some chips and some deep scratches, but it's looking way better. I started working on the trim. This panel's been painted. Next, you're going to be by the doors. We're going to get that done, but this SVO is coming right along. Not too shabby. I've spent about the last 45 minutes doing this. I'm going to give you a quick tip. If you ever feel compelled to buy dollar store masking tape, just don't. It just falls off. It's absolutely worthless. This is 3M, the yellow tape you see. There is some dollar store stuff down here, but it's not really doing anything. I'm going to wipe this thing down with some paint prep, and I'm going to spray the trim because I think it's going to really bring the car up. So this is Shopline. It's a paint thinner, but it's a general purpose solvent. I like to wipe the stuff down before I spray something. So prep that down. This has all been scored. You score it so your paint sticks. Always shake vigorously and apply light coats. This is Mopar paint. It's trim rubber, vinyl. Well, here goes nothing, as they say. Now, for those watching at home, that didn't seem like a whole lot of paint, but I'm going to let that flash and I'm going to give it another coat.
So if you're going to paint the trim around the doors, you might as well do the bumpers. The paint I purchased was a Mopar paint. It was for vinyl and rubber. I got it at a local surplus store. They're 5-ounce cans. They were 99 cents. So I bought 10 of them, which is more than enough to handle the rest of the car. In my last video, I showed you some brake fluid that came out of this car. It had to be ancient. And I used a turkey baster to
suck it out. The issue is that old fluid's still in the lines. Today I'm going to take care of that. I don't have a friend with me to pump the brakes. It's Friday, I'm retired, so I can do this whenever I want. The thing is, I have to bleed these brakes by myself, solo. I'm going to show you my setup here, and it's something you can use if you decide to flush your brake fluid. So my setup here is pretty simple. I have a used drink bottle, some flexible tubing, and a zip tie that goes over the bleeder. I'm simply going to crack the bleeder here, let the old fluid gravity feed from the master cylinder into the drink bottle. That will flush out my brake lines. Now, had I wanted to pump the brakes here, I could. As long as the bottom of the hose is in the old brake fluid, I'm not going to pull air back into the system. The other thing is, with that zip tie on the bleeder, it doesn't make a mess. You don't get brake fluid all over the floor. It simply goes into the bottle. I like to take the top of the bottle. Some folks will tell you to drill a hole in it. I take a carpenter knife and simply cut an X in it. That allows the flexible tubing to hold on to the lid of the bottle, so I can kind of let it hang there if I need to. It's not as quick to just jump out of the bottle. Kind of holds it in place. So I'm going to button up this side now that the fluid's clear. We're going to move to the front, and I'm going to put brake hoses on the front because the flexible hoses on here are, well, the originals from 1986. So here you can see me pumping the brake pedal and the fluid going into the bottle. I got lucky. My brother-in-law happened to be driving by, and he was willing to come in and help me bleed these brakes. You can do it by yourself, although having the car in a lift is somewhat difficult. That takes care of everything mechanical and cosmetic. The last thing I need to do is just show you the car outside. Now, most sane people are going to test drive a car around the block, driving around the neighborhood. But, me, I'm going to drive to Hershey, Pennsylvania because CJ Pony Parts show is today. So as far as the rear axle and the brake line work that I did, we're just going to send it. Well, there goes nothing. Oh, it went into gear. I got a little company this morning. I dreamed about having one of these cars when I was 19 years old and in the service, and obviously I couldn't afford one then because, well, I was a airman, and airmen don't make a lot of money. So to have it today, and there goes the turbo, feels pretty good. It's a nice feeling to have an actual SVO, to be behind the wheel and driving it. I don't go to many car shows. This is August, and this is the first one I've attended. But yeah, it's nice. It's nice. I don't like the sunroof. Bald guy's sunroof doesn't work out real well. And while the paint on this isn't exactly perfect, it's good enough. I want to drive this car, kind of enjoy it, get back to having a vehicle I could just jump in and go. Brakes feel good, so that's a good thing. I got to jump on the highway, and that was its Achilles heel last time. We'll see how that goes this time. This car came with a Cobra radar detector from like the 90s, I'm guessing. So I might as well use it. It's plugged in. I don't think it's going to do anything. But who knows? But it's kind of a vintage piece, so we'll put it up there. Also came with this. I don't want to get copyright infringement. Ah, radar. So will this friction modifier cure this problem? Or is this thing going to make a lot of noise here in this left turn? We're both about to find out. Keep your fingers crossed. Nothing. No noise. No noise. So I made it back from CJ's, no problems. The rear end's no longer making noise. There's some things I still need to address here. The clutch is a little bit noisy. The fuel filter, I noticed yesterday, probably the original. This car, I was told by another SVO enthusiast and subscriber, thank you, that this car has 2 fuel pumps on it. And that's something else I'm going to want to address, as well as all the rubber lines for the fuel system, because who knows how old those things are. So that's something that's next on my agenda. But as far as how it looks, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks okay. I do have a dent on the back on the hatch lid. I want to make an attempt at paintless dent repair, and I know nothing about that. I've probably done more wet sanding. Well, I absolutely have done more wet sanding than I've done paintless dent repair, but it's already dented, so it can't be any worse. So I'm going to give it a shot. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll see you.